I came into first year experience without any system of organization. I didn't use an agenda or anything, and I just depended on my memory to remind me I have homework. I also struggled getting motivated for classes, and even when I was motivated, I was a very independent worker. I just didn't even know if college was something I needed. Along with Along with these college classes being the first quote unquote advanced classes I'd taken, I was stressed to do well. I believed I was capable of succeeding, but I just didn't want to put an effort forth to do it. It was until I learned these choices of successful students that I started seeing an improvement in school and in life. The first of many choices of successful students is accepting personal responsibility. My main takeaway from this chapter is controlling your mindset. There are two types of mindsets, victim and creator. Victims typically believe external forces control their outcomes in life, where creators believe their own choices determine their future. This chapter made me think harder and analyze my decisions before I make them, comparing and weighing the different outcomes of the choices. For example, I am considering taking a couple online classes through Lincoln Land this summer. My choices can range from either not taking any classes this summer to fully booking up my summer and being able to get my associate's degree early. I've made a decision somewhere in the middle, only taking 2 classes. This should help me achieve what I desire, which would be getting ahead and also not drowning in homework this summer. The next choice of successful students is discovering self-motivation. Successful students create their own motivation, and they also create a plan and stick to it. In order to motivate yourself, you need to know how much you value your education and how capable you are to succeed. If you don't think a class has any benefit to your life or you feel completely overwhelmed, then odds are you will struggle being motivated to succeed. In order to maintain motivation, you must find a balance between the two, understanding why you are in said class and understanding you can succeed. When you properly manage the two, you become ready to face any challenge thrown at you. I've used this formula to form my own self-motivation. Knowing my goals require a college education and knowing I'm capable of succeeding and wanting to prove it pushes me every day. Mastering self-management has been difficult for me. One way to do this is by keeping an agenda and organizing all your tasks into categories. These categories are important and urgent, not important and urgent, not urgent and important, and not urgent and not important. By making an agenda and dividing up your daily actions, you can see what you need to prioritize. Developing self-discipline, staying focused, and remaining persistent is the only way to achieve your goals. After achieving all these things, you will create a successful identity for yourself. The next skill of a successful student is employing interdependence. Interdependence can be defined as being able to succeed by yourself, but accomplishing more and having more fun giving and receiving help. This is a field that I feel I improved in. Being independent is important to teach yourself that you can achieve things, but you can always get even further with a little help. It's not fun learning the hard way all the time, so I started asking teachers for a little more help and asking my classmates what they're doing to understand the material. It also helps with life decisions, such as which college courses are for me and even just personal problems. A great quote I think of to help me employ interdependence is, individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean. In order to become truly interdependent, you must give just as much as you receive. This means actively listening to people and always trying to expand and reflect on conversations. Once you do this, you'll realize no two people are the same. In order to show people proper respect, you must use preferred terms for a person's culture group and learn nonverbal behaviors. For example, a thumbs up could mean good job in North America, but it could be an obscene gesture in Chinese culture. Being an open individual can help you learn these differences. Another trait of successful students is gaining self-awareness. You can't be the one to sabotage your own goals. This means you must take control of your life and make sure you try the best you can, not letting external forces get in the way. Each person has different things going on in their lives that can either help achieve their goals or steer you off course. These can be emotional, thought, or behavioral patterns. In order to be truly successful, you must try and quiet these destructive patterns. Sometimes you don't even know you have destructive habits, so it can be hard. This is why we must constantly sit back and analyze ourselves. Furthermore, another trait of successful students is adopting lifelong learning. Lifelong learners aren't scared to put themselves into uncomfortable situations, as they learn from them. There are 2 mindsets when it comes to learning, fixed and growth. Fixed mindsets believe they are born with a set amount of talent and ability. Oftentimes, it is this mindset that makes you give up on something, or makes you feel like you are incapable of doing it. A growth mindset would tell you that intelligence is like a muscle, and that it grows as you strengthen it. Developing a growth mindset is hard, but it isn't impossible. You must set goals, seek feedback, and change course if needed. There are 4 ways of learning, and you must learn which ways works best for you. If you do this, you may find learning to be extremely enjoyable, and you'll learn things even when you don't know it. The next trait of successful students is developing emotional intelligence. Understanding your mind and taking control of your emotions is the key in life. The 4 components of emotional intelligence are as follows: knowing your feelings in the moment, managing strong feelings, emphasizing accurately with other people's emotions, and handling emotions in relationships with skill and harmony. In order to know your feelings in the moment, you must become familiar with yourself. Learn terms for different emotions you experience and get to the bottom of what causes it. You must be mindful of emotions as they happen and make sure you don't make any hasty decisions you might regret. You must also learn how to properly handle these emotions and how to remain calm and collected. Separating yourself from these external stressors is an easy way to do it, but sometimes what you stress about must be done. For me, I always felt like I had my plate full, so I started writing down what I needed to get done. After I had my list, I divided it up by what was urgent or important and went from there. Over time, I realized I was stressing about things that either weren't urgent or important, and this has helped me take control of my life. The last trait of successful students is believing in yourself. I feel like this comes along after all the other traits fall into place. By being aware of what needs to be done, motivating yourself to do it, and getting it done, and helping others along the way, you are acting on believing in yourself. Sometimes, even the false confidence of believing in yourself can push you to succeed. When you work on these things, you start seeing these things become a part of you. You aren't just learning for the class, you are a life learner. You take accountability for yourself, and know that at the end of the day, it is you who put the effort forth, and no one can take that from you. Over this past semester, I felt myself become a better student. I feel more confident in myself. Coming into this class, I felt like I wasn't an active learner and definitely wasn't organized. This semester was a little different with the pandemic happening in the middle of it, but it made me realize a great lesson. This world won't wait for you. While I was stressed out staying home, I was falling behind on my classwork and genuinely not doing anything. I had to pull myself up and get back on my feet. Becoming an active learner is deeper than just raising your hand in class. It's devoting your time to actually learn the material. You can just turn in assignments, or you can actually try to learn something from them. I've always been confident in my reading ability, and typically as I am writing, I will highlight key points of character or story development. But it was taking those highlights and organizing it into something to study that I struggled with. Throwing words on a Quizlet was just never learning for me. It took me actually applying what I had learned into real life, whether it be actually trying to develop lifelong learning or doing extra research to become comfortable with topics in history class. I've also seen a great improvement in my writing and test-taking abilities. Stress was a killer for me, and as soon as I learned ways to eliminate that stress, I saw great improvements. Giving it my best shot was the main thing. I will never bum myself out if I take my best shot. By trying harder with all these study skills listed above, I saw my grades improve. Setting time aside to study and not procrastinating until the last minute has allowed me to get my peers to review my writing, and it allows me to come back to my work and edit when needed. This semester was a semester of growth for me, my last semester of high school. I realized I had to take control over my life if I really want to succeed. At the college level, you cannot be stagnant. I learned I can be self-motivated, and once I get going, I feel like I'm on top of things. I'm happy I took this course, as I feel like I know what needs to be done to succeed. I learned that these skills are something I will be working on for the rest of my life, and no matter how good I get at something, there's always room for improvement. I commit to being a lifelong learner and never giving up on myself. I commit to being more and more organized and taking responsibility for my actions. I commit to giving everything I can and giving the best attempt I can give.